You're listening to Living Out Loud with my mom, Michelle Flamer. Yep, she's a flamer and proud of it. Get ready to learn about queers in your communities doing great things everywhere.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Living Out Loud. You guys, it's not every day that I get to meet and get to talk to somebody. Well, I get to talk to a lot of amazing people, but being a lawyer and being a badass mom in a high power, office, as far as what she can do with her clients, I'm really excited to talk to our guest today, Diana Romanov. She is a woman whose story crosses continents and hearts, born in Kyiv, shaped in Germany, and now empowering families in California. She's not just a lawyer, she's a bridge. Her book, Divorce Like a Boss, is part roadmap, part revelation. Today, there's the book. Today, we're going to explore the courage to begin again, the power of empathy in law, and what it means to find wholeness on the other side of heartbreak. Diana, I am so excited to know you and talk to you. And we have a Kyiv connection.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for the humble introduction.
Yeah, I mean, you're cool. It was fun doing some research on you, and I'm excited to get the book. And I'm jazzed. Like, is there anything that you would add in to what I said?
Well, yes, of course, because we also talked about LGBT community,
That's
and
right.
I shared with you some cases that went to trial when one of my transgender clients got taken to the cleaners, and
Yep.
how that other woman who was basically trying to take advantage of my client
Yep.
wanted to have a green card, filed domestic violence restraining order to get women of domestic violence abuse when there was no abuse. They were only married
Right.
for 1 month, and how we were able to offer her go away price. She said no, and then she got annulment, and now no restraining order and annulment. So that was
You, I mean, you just don't
heartbreaking.
hear about these stories very often. And I mean, this isn't the big part. I mean, this is something important and relevant right now, but I just haven't heard of like a mail order bride situation like this. But there's so much good that came out of it because you got justice for your client who happened to be transgender, which I'm really grateful for.
Yes, yes. When the law came out, I was like, yay, I get to help a very important part of the world as well. Not
Yeah.
just.
No, that makes so much sense. So, like, you and I both share these ties in Kiev. There's something about probably, and I didn't grow up there. You actually lived there, right? Before,
Yes.
yeah. How has like the history of Kiev and what's going on now, but how has that shaped the way you show up for people in moments of crisis and transformation? Is there, you can tap into that heritage probably.
Oh, yes. So not only Kiev, but communism itself shaped
Mm,
me who I am, because I was born in 1979 and left Ukraine when I was 15 years old, when Ukraine decided to be declared independence.
yep.
Right then and there, when we left to Israel, then to Germany, and then I left to America. Anyway, during the time in Kiev, I felt a lot of deprivation of
Mm,
capitalism, but there was no capitalism, communism. And so my parents went through a series of divorce. They divorced each other 5 times. Five
wait, your
times.
parents divorced? Like, I've been through one divorce. That is enough. Like, why five? Oh my God.
So I only remember the first because I remember
Wait, did they like fall in love again and then realize they did like for
I
real?
think there
Like
were
they,
different reasons. So the first time it was a real reason because I was around 6 years old, and I remember walking up the hill with my mom was a bag because they had this fight, and then that was me living with her. And and then they got back together, and then again and again, and then Chernobyl hit, then they got again together. And so there were constant different reasons for them to get back to, they're still together. So
Wow.
they're going strong. My mom
They
met
are
my dad.
soulmates. They're literally soulmates. If they can't let go of themselves, like they can't let go of each other, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
they met each other
incredible.
when they were 19.
Oh my
So
gosh.
at least my mom, my dad is 5 years older. So communism, I don't know much about communism, but I thought everyone lives like that until I saw Israel and Tom and Jerry, how right things can be. And then also I have seen divorce from both perspectives, meaning being a child, seeing
Yep.
how it feels when dad comes in and wants to spend time with me, how it feels when mom is alone, how it feels to shuffle me around. And then when I moved to Germany, I also got married and got divorced. So when I came to America and went to this brainstorm class, figuring out what I want to do with my life after I
Yeah.
passed the bar in California, I thought to myself, I actually can relate to people from divorcing side,
Yeah.
from hiring an attorney side, because when I hired my attorney, I wanted transparency about billing. I think I'm the only lawyer I know who bills clients weekly, who
Mm.
BBCs clients so they on a weekly basis they can see. So everything I experienced with the lawyer I
So
hired.
your experience formulated for you to be like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this and really create the business model that really benefits your clientele because of that empathy piece, right? That's where because of your understanding of like I know what it feels like to be your little 7-year-old kid who's over here waiting for mom and dad to maybe reconcile or maybe not be so angry, but also understanding where dad or mom are sitting, right? Or the spouses, male, female, gay, lesbian, whatever the relationship you're talking to. But you understand both because you've walked in both pairs of shoes.
Also relating to children when people come
Yes,
in and
that's
they
what I'm
want.
saying. Their little 7-year-old kid, you're able to like
Yes,
understand, like, okay, look, at the end of this, like the most important piece is how your kids get through this process.
exactly. And so when people have children, I tend to encourage mediation over litigation.
So
Not all.
I know, and I love all that. So tell me, like, the aha moment. When did you know you wanted to be a lawyer? And if not a lawyer, what would did you want to be, before that? And then you turned it on a pivot.
Gosh, I remember I was 18 years old. I was in the bus on the second floor in Germany, riding a bus, and I was thinking, okay, who do I want to be? And in my mind, I only had three options: a lawyer, like my uncle, a journalist, like my dad, and an actress, like nobody in my family. And so, out of three options, I remember my thinking process at that age. It's like, okay, so when I'm old, can I still be can I still be a great actress? Well, probably not, because I thought that when I'm old, I'm not going to be as desirable as the new actresses coming in. So I
Mm.
might be less desirable, and therefore, the older I get, the less likely I'm going to be that, famous actress. And
Yeah.
journalist, I knew my dad wasn't earning much, partially because it was in comedies. Everyone was earning, but at that time I thought, well, yeah, nah. Lawyer. My uncle was a very successful lawyer. Everyone was respecting him, and I needed that feeling of respect. Like,
Mm.
okay, so if I'm becoming a lawyer, then the older I get, it's like red wine. It's going to be better and better and better. Then in court, I get to use my acting skills.
Oh, I see where
And
you're going.
I get to be a journalist because I will write stories. So it's like win,
Mm.
win, win if I'm a lawyer. And if it doesn't work out, I still can be a journalist. Probably not an actor anymore.
Hey, you never know. I mean, you could today go get an agent and I mean, you have a publishing agent, I'm gathering, and
Yes.
it's not much, it's not much different in that sense, but
Actually, so I wrote a second book, how to stay married. It's not published
Ooh.
yet. It has 5 stories, and I was thinking, gosh, I would be so good at playing the lawyer in these cases.
Oh, so maybe turn it into something.
Netflix, yes.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. You heard it on our YouTube channel and here on the podcast. So, within all of this and family law, you like witness love at its breaking point, right? And it's like, what's in the book, Divorce Like a Boss? Do you talk like where does that journey start for the reader?
So this book is a summary of all the years of repetition in consultations. Clients tend to ask very similar questions. How do I get the team together? Do I need a team? How does divorce start? How much does divorce cost? How long does it last? And what about spousal support, child support, custody? And so all these questions are so repetitive that at some point I decided to have my YouTube channel. When a client books an appointment with me for half an hour and wants to know everything about spousal support and child support and custody, that's a conversation for a couple hours. So I tell them, hey, I have a video that's 17-minute long just about spousal support. I cover everything you need to know information
Amazing.
wise. I don't give legal advice, but it's only information. Everything about spousal support, the other video about child support, and then let's talk about your particular situation. So that, and usually
Mhm.
when they call me before we have a meeting, I ask them preliminary to watch certain videos so that they can write their questions after they watch the video so that we don't cover, they don't pay me for basic knowledge. And so this book is for people who like to read. I also have Kindle version, I also have Audible version, and then
Is it you doing the narration? Because I love your accent.
thank you. I didn't do the narration this time.
Oh,
That's
okay.
for
Is it a guy or a girl? Like, is it a male
it's
or
a
female
woman,
voice?
yes.
Okay,
It's a
that's
female
good. All
voice.
right, at least there's a female voice in there. The title is so powerful, right? It reframes divorce as empowerment rather than feeling like a failure, because it is interesting, like, so because even when I went through divorce, and if I talk to other people that are thinking about divorcing, there is that social, that social kind of like a red flag to divorce. It's still very a negative connotation, right? And so
Yeah,
I like how you're flipping what divorce is more of like, because I feel like that. Like I feel like it was more empowering because after 18 years with my ex-wife and thank God, like knock on wood, right? We're amicable, we are able to co-parent because when I went through my parents' divorce at 9, I literally looked at my little brother who was crying in the chair, in the chair next to me when they told us in our living room, and my mom still lives in that childhood home. So sometimes I sit in the one chair that is and I go, this is where you told us you're getting divorced. Like sometimes I just throw it out to my mom and she's like,
yeah,
we've now had these great conversations around like how we felt back then. Like we can talk about it now. My dad passed away suddenly in 2020, so he's no
oh,
longer part of like, and they were divorced for a long time, and my stepmom is amazing, but regardless, I remember the first thought at 9, looking over at my brother going, we're going to have 2 rooms. We're going to have 2 holidays. We're going to have and I said to my parents, I just literally at 9 said to them, thank God you won't be fighting anymore. Like I knew, like in my heart of hearts, I knew that it was going to be a good thing. So flash forward, 3 years ago when my wife and I sat down to tell my ex-wife and I to tell our daughter, we emphatically said, and really driving it home, one, this has zero to do with you, my little sweet love, right? Like this has nothing to do with you.
yeah,
This has to do with mommy and mama wanting to build a bigger and happier life because we're not able to build this life together any longer. Like we're just running different courses, we're in different spaces, and mommy and I we're always going to be a family. And really,
good.
and it's worked out well because of that, because I looked at my ex-wife and I said, I can't be my parents. We cannot be my mom, Bonnie, and my dad, Mike. We can't be Bonnie and Mike through this. And she said,
Mm.
don't worry, we won't be. We will not do that. And so I think like when we use the book, which you might also know for these moments, is conscious uncoupling,
Right. Yes.
made famous by Gwyneth Paltrow, and we did read that book and it was really helpful. But if you don't have an attorney like you, Diana, to like empathize and talk them through it, um, it's like, it's because it has to come from the two people. We're on the same page. We want to achieve amicable, resolution here. And, the bigger picture has to be on the same level. But as you know, because I'm sure you're going to tell me right now, like that isn't always the case, where two people can really meet. And that's where they need, attorneys that can really sit and walk in those shoes and hopefully come help everybody come to those agreements in a kind, fashionable, kind way. But I know that doesn't always happen, sadly.
That's true.
So
That's
it's interesting, right? So my question to come back to that, it's a powerful title to you is what does like a boss really mean in this context?
It's empowering to be in charge, to step into a process, um, not being a victim of the situation, but
Mm-hmm.
a creator
Yeah.
of the steps. Even if someone doesn't want divorce, we know in California it's unavoidable if the other side wants divorce, instead of waiting for the other side to file, waiting for things to happen, to take life back and be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And by reading this book, it gives clear, concise, measurable steps to achieve one step at a time. It's very, very concise in chapters, and it has little homework piece to write down, and I ask questions. So
That's
it's
amazing.
like a workbook. It's not just like some boring book about how to. So I even have
Yeah,
images,
amazing.
questions, so that people can sort of think about what they want. Because a lot of the times people ask me, what should I want?
Right.
Like,
Isn't
well,
isn't that crazy? World peace. No, that's not what they're asking. I know. I
that's
know.
actually my first, when I started my business, I hired action coach, and she assigned a homework to me to figure out my mission.
I
What
love
is my
that.
mission statement? And my mission statement was and is peace one person at a time. So I feel so grateful when a client at the end of the conversation says, "Oh my God, thank you for saying that. I kind of knew what you said, but it's so good to hear, confirming from California licensed attorney and explaining it to me in a way that ChatGPT can't."
Hmm. I
Yeah,
know.
so
We love ChatGPT, but it makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, you have to like actually read what you're putting out. So in essence, you wrote the book for anybody who's going through this, even though it's you on the cover and might lean more towards women, men can get just as much out of it, I'm guessing.
yeah, it's actually gender neutral. It's not towards
Perfect.
women. And I do say things about custody visitation that apply to California law because I'm licensed in California. But the concept, I would say, is similar to human concept of how to process this
Yeah.
difficult situation.
So if readers walk away like with only one message from Divorce Like a Boss, what would you want that to be? Like getting that message or like you tell me.
One message that there is a light behind the tunnel,
Hmm.
and there is a new beginning, and it would surprise some people, but a lot of the times, whatever happens has a silver lining of happening for something better.
How was the book writing process for you? Did you have to like tap into a spot in your heart that you haven't really like leaned into in a while?
You know, this book was very technical.
Mm,
The second book was excruciating, taking my soul. I was literally, that second book is connecting how to stay married to mistakes my clients made, the mistakes I made, and
so
how
great.
did I learn from their mistakes, a little bit my past, present, and what I hope in the future. So this book was a bit easier to write because it was
I
more,
got you because the emotional spot is out. It's more A to Z on how to frame the divorce you actually want.
yes, it did
I
take a
got,
couple years to write too,
yeah, I can
as,
imagine.
as the second book, but this was a more brainy type of book.
Yeah. Family law often sort of asks us, right, to hold space for anger, for grief, and hope also, hope, sometimes all in one meeting. So, how do you refill your emotional cup? I mean, much like a therapist at times, right? Like that the compassion doesn't become depletion. What do
Oh,
you do for you?
this is so difficult still after how many years? 15, 13. Well, I'm proud to say that I have built a good team of people who help me to navigate this taking on difficult situations, and they take tasks that feel sometimes at times I feel like I don't want to do this right now so they can take it over, and then I go back and then I take vacations. I take time off every 3 months, even if it's one day in hot springs. I have date nights.
Perfect.
I go and do my chiropractic care,
Love it.
massages. Not enough,
Self-care and
not
love.
enough. And I have a therapist. I have a therapist for the last 6 years, every
Good.
week. And so she told me to treat myself as I am the VIP client. So to put
Mm,
myself on the calendar.
that's
But
right.
by default, oh, what do I need to do for everyone else? To say, oh,
Yeah.
actually, I'm blocked here for lunch with a colleague or massage or whatever that is. I don't do it enough. I don't do it every week, which I'm a workaholic. If I would be left to my own, I would,
You, an A-type personality? What?
when I'm on my own during the weekends, all I do is work. It makes me feel fulfilled. I feel
Wait, so you have a young daughter, right? Does she like if we asked her like what does mommy do? What would she say?
oh,
Mm.
she would say she works a lot. Yeah.
Do you feel like you miss out on things or do you try to stay super present when she's not in school? Because she's in kindergarten right now,
Well,
right?
when she comes home, I spend time with her. On the
Good.
weekends, most weekends, I spend time with her.
Yeah.
But
But
when she's home and sick and I'm working, that's when she doesn't like that.
yeah, I bet. But you're like, is there a birthday party this weekend? Because I need to lock out in 3 hours and she can go play. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
I got 3 hours to bill here.
But I also want to, I would
No.
like her to see a version of happy mom who is
Hmm.
also happy what she does
Yeah.
and is working and
Well, I
is,
think that's the part of like living out loud and why I called the podcast, living out loud is like having people live in their outward. So this like showing your daughter like, yes, I'm a female, I'm a lawyer, which is typically a male dominated, industry still, I believe, right? It's probably is it more even these days or do you still feel like it's more male dominated?
I never paid attention, but now that you ask, I kind of feel we women are, I feel I interact with more female attorneys.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So it's neat to be able to show your daughter these facets of you, but it's all who you are. And as long as you're walking that authentic path where she's
Yes.
seeing you work hard, but also like, wow, she showed up for my events and she always drove me to school, or she always like we have like I used to do and now my daughter, because she's 14, says yes or no now, but we had Friday night movie nights. It was always locked in. And one time in I think she was 9, her teacher said, "Do you guys do movie nights on Friday night?" And I said, "Yeah," because she really loves them. And I didn't really, you just kind of pick something and you do it, but you don't know that the kid really loves it until someone like brings it up to you. So, do you have any little
That's a good
tradition?
idea. I was just thinking,
Yeah,
we
you
do
could
have
do
movie
start
nights
something.
with popcorn and
Oh,
but it's
everything.
not
Order
every.
pizza. It's usually a pizza movie night, and then you have popcorn, candy.
Yeah, I'll borrow that idea because I
Good. Let me
like
know how it goes. You got to
it.
report back to me. And now you're accountable. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So wait, so like, how has your own journey as like a woman, an immigrant, an advocate, like shaped this? Because you have this quiet power about you, but you're not a quiet person, I'm gathering. Like you're loud where you need to be loud. And I kind of love that energy that you give off. Even just meeting you, I'm like, I know already, like if when I come to San Francisco or Marin, I'm gonna be like, can we go have dinner? Because
Yes,
you're so cool. Like, so how
I
has
love
all of
that.
this, like your power in your voice, like did it come from your parents, or did you sort of develop this, this over the last 15 years of being a lawyer?
I feel I was raised to be a good girl.
Mm.
And when my parents were fighting, I was mediating. Let's say my mom would say, "Go tell this, blah, 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 that I want, blah, blah, blah," in very powerful words that I didn't like. So I would go to dad and say, "Hey, mom asked you for a big favor. And could you please?" And so I would take this role of a mediator at young age, and I realized actually that's what I do now with my clients. When I see a nasty email from opposing counsel or from the other side, if they're not represented, they're like, "How dare they say this and do that?" And I'm like, well, they're in pain, and I can see, and then I explain, and then they get into the softer place of, oh, I see. Okay, well then let's do this. And then we come to an agreement. In terms of developing my voice, I feel like I'm in a pendulum. I used to like please everyone, and I still can tap to it when I speak to clients. And
Welcome to being a woman. We all have come from that. No, really, like from our childhoods, I really believe like we don't come away from not being a people pleaser or some type of codependency, because that's just how we're raised, socio-economic, whatever, the social aspect of growing up as cis females. It's very
right,
different how they talk to us than how they talk to our brothers or to other guys or to men growing up.
right. And then I would observe how men would present, and I would tap into that energy, and I was like, oh, that's possible. Okay, game on. And then I would be the opposite when I need to be. So I can tap into different versions of myself, like a chameleon adapting to a situation, which is, I guess, my acting skills
Yeah,
shining through. So I felt so rewarding to take myself out of the situation completely. It's not about me, whether I'm
right,
type A or type B or pleaser, not pleaser. How can I effectively help this person who needs my help right now? I read the
right.
room, I read the judge. Does the judge like when someone is more assertive or more soft? How does the judge respond to the other lawyer who is very aggressive but not persuasive? Then, so I adapt to the situation very quickly because I changed probably 9 to 10 schools. So I had to adapt in every class to sort of
Yeah.
survive. And I walk into the room, I read the room, and I know the baseline: respectful, persuasive, not aggressive, but making sure the message comes across. And judges appreciate that.
I really love how you're able to break down, like there's a method to what you do. Like in sales, I've been in sales for a gazillion years. I'm a sales director in my regular job. And people always ask, like, how do you do what you do? And I'm like, part of it is just who I am, but also after years of listening to bad salespeople, like, or listening to good people that you want to emulate, like you learn something. And something about what shaped me was really my grandfather, again, came from, the Ukrainian area. He was a VP of Esquire shoe polish in the 40s and 50s. He was a traveling sales manager, vice president, and very similar. We used to talk shop a lot. But the fascinating thing is what he did for us, the grandkids, when we would come over, he would make us shake, female or male, like whatever, if we were a granddaughter or a grandson, he would make all of us, before we entered the house, shake his hand properly and give eye contact. And
Ah,
it stood out. And even my cousins and I still talk about how he used to do that. And it really has helped in business because even though I'm a cis female, I definitely present, obviously, as you can see, very gay, but it doesn't mean that I should be taken less seriously in work. And when I'm at lots of trade shows, I have to shake a lot of hands and give a lot of eye contact. And it's amazing how people always say, God, you always gave such a great handshake, or, you really are present and great. And I said, yeah, my grandfather taught all of us that. No matter, regardless of what careers we were going into, he always felt like that connection, that moment that you have in front of just like when you're talking to a first client, you kind of can read the room. You already know just by
I
what they're
know.
giving out. You already know which direction you have to go, where, and it's because of these kinds of, like growing up in my Jewish family, and how, my grandfather just taught us to really be present with people and build relationships and build rapport and connection.
I can even feel when a client comes to my office or on the phone, I can feel the guilt before they
Mm,
even say, oh, I cheated and therefore I should give more than 50%. Before that person says that, I say, well, it sounds like you feel a lot of guilt and you will make the decision of giving more.
yeah.
But in my experience, most clients who do give out of guilt come back in a year and regret it.
Well, isn't that I mean, that's the intuition of what you've built over time because you've paid attention. It's like if we just go through life being completely unconscious, as then you're just like, how did I get here? But when there's a method to it, it means that we're being very conscious and very intentional in whether how we word something, whether our body language says something. If it's not aligned, then you know it. Like if you're on a video call or if you're in person with somebody, you can read the room in a second just on nonverbal cues alone. Kind of like I can when a buyer or a client is coming at me at a trade show. Like you just know these things instinctively when when you care, when you want to hone a craft, whether it be acting, right? Because actors hone their craft, whether it's a lawyer who's insanely good at litigation and in the courtroom. Like you can see, like, talk about performances, right? That is like, that person gets a freaking Oscar today because it's insane how you have to utilize all those skills that kind of flow into like what you were talking about journalism. They have to understand, nonverbal cues, being a lawyer, and then also like acting. It really does all come together like that.
But acting not in a sense of faking,
No, no,
acting
exact.
in a
No.
sense of being effective to bring the message home where it
Yes.
needs to belong.
Yes, having the intention of what we're accomplishing on the other
Right.
end, whether it's a first conversation or whether it's a closing conversation, it doesn't matter. Every conversation, there's an intention, and you know what that intention is throughout that process. And I think it's important. It's like if you're floundering, if we have people right now that not only are listening because, they want to learn more about you and maybe they're going through something, I think this can really help somebody in their life if they are feeling untethered, if they're not feeling grounded in what they're doing. I love the saying of, You're not a tree. You can move, right? You're not
Right,
fixed in one spot. We're humans. This is Earth 101. This is school. And
right,
we can evolve and pivot and learn new things. And I think the what we're talking about can really kind of cross multitudes of verticals.
right, exactly. Yeah.
So something else that I love to do towards the end of a podcast is like a little bit of a rapid fire if you have a few more minutes with me.
Yes, of course. I didn't notice the time flight
Oh
already.
yeah, we're having fun. I know.
Oh my
I have a
goodness.
little timer so that I can always kind of keep things in track. So Kiev or San Francisco, which city feels more like home to your soul right now?
I feel San Francisco chose me
Hmm.
because when I came to San Francisco, things aligned. I was so in love with San Francisco that I was willing to work at a coffee shop before I even passed the bar, before I even established a law firm, just to be in that city, just to have that blue sky over me.
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't have that in
probably
Germany.
yeah, Germany I heard is absolutely stunning too, like very
Right.
woodsy.
But the blue sky and the ocean is what memorized me. I was so in love.
I always say there's really no more no there San Francisco is the most beautiful city on a clear day in all of the states. Like there's something really magical about San Francisco on a clear day.
Yeah, you know, when you drive over the hill and you
Yep.
see the blue sky and the view is the ocean, the
Yep, it's pretty
Marina
special.
Avenue. It's like, wow.
Do you live near North Beach? I'm not going to tell people where you live. Oh, no. Yeah, you actually don't because I know where you are. You're a little more
My
north.
so my office is in Marina.
Oh,
So whenever
gotcha.
I drive to the office, I see that view. And I'm like, gosh, I'm so lucky.
It's so stunning. Okay. One word that describes you in court.
Persuasive.
Yes, that's a good, powerful word. One word describes you in love.
Mm.
Uh-oh, it's been a while. You're writing books.
Oh,
That's who you've been dating. Are your pages of the
I
books.
would say caring.
Oh, that's really sweet. Caring. I like that. Are you a coffee, tea, or champagne kind of girl?
Coffee.
Yeah, me too. I love coffee. Oh, how do you?
Coffee, then tea, no champagne. I don't drink.
Okay, I'm not a real big drinker either, but I just think it's fun. Um, the most surprising thing you've learned from a client
Surprising. It's kind of hard to surprise me
at this
nowadays.
point, right?
At this point, I don't think I heard anything that was so surprising to me.
Yeah, that's because you've been doing it a long
Yeah,
enough now. You've kind of heard all of it.
yeah.
Um, is there a book that you're reading through any like that helped you through a major transition?
So stop worrying, start living.
Oh, good call out.
Dale Carnegie. I
Yeah,
read
I
that book
love Dale Carnegie.
last year, and all the stories like before I go to bed. In prenups, it's really good type of thinking to think what will happen if, what if they get divorced, and what if he sells the house, and what if, and then I have all these what ifs, and then put them in the prenup, but then I cannot switch it off when I'm at home. I'm like, what if the house burns down? And I'm like, okay, stop.
Yeah, because you're just kind of you turn off just enough because you're not in front of your desk, you're not in your desk, but
Right,
it's still like this conscious thought in the back, like what else could be in there? And all of a sudden, like you said, like you're it's almost rapid fire for you at home, right?
right. It's very rewarding for prenup client because I
You're
can
funny.
foresee all kinds of things that could happen that we can prevent in the prenup, but then I don't have the switch yet.
I love it. So finish this sentence for me. Living out loud means,
Be your authentic self
yeah.
without hesitation.
I love that. Diana, I am so glad that I got to meet you. I'm so excited that you are out there in the world helping people navigate really, other than moving, one of the most challenging times in a couple's life. And appreciate you being an ally out there. I mean, I'm excited to share your information. So unfortunately, if any of if any of the community needs your work, needs
Or
you.
fortunately for prenup.
Yeah, or even for the happy stuff. Yeah, the
Yeah.
prenup just to protect yourself. So that's great too. You're right. We don't have to just go be negative just for divorce. It's also the prenup piece to protect both parties and going
Yeah.
into a relationship knowing that everything is sort of laid out and out there for everybody.
They way they want, they way
Yes.
they envision it so that
Yeah.
they have a clear structure what it would look like in case of if.
I love that. I really appreciate, well, thank you so much for today and your time. It's valuable and I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to read the second book. I'm looking forward to when that comes out.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was pleasure talking to you.
Yeah,
You're
it was really
such a
fun
bright,
talking.
bright sunshine.
Oh, thank you.
If you liked this episode, please hit the follow button and remember, sharing is caring. Until next week, stay proud, stay loud.